Hello, hello. Welcome to Healthy Perspectives, a podcast that takes on current cultural and social issues through a clinical lens. Hello, hello. All right. Welcome back. Thank you so much for joining us. As always, we appreciate your time. And today we're going to do a quick hitter. I got that, by the way, that pun was intended. A quick hitter. What that means is I want to super quick just do a quick shout out to Peterose. Before we do that, though, I do want to get to something that is also current, much like Peterose passing yesterday. There is a lot of flooding and disaster relief needed on the East Coast. And I'm going to be honest, I don't, there's each of us have limitations. And I am one of those people who has limitations. I wish there was more that I could do. Everybody at these times says, send money, I'll get money to them. I could do that. They say, donate your time. Not everybody can do that. And so I just want to offer this up. And we'll just make the tip of the day this. Do whatever you can to be helpful to the world around you. You may not be able to influence this particular disaster with any significance. Maybe you don't have the money. Things are tight. The inflation's pretty rough on a lot of people. I hear about it in my office all the time. Maybe, all you can do is pray for them. That still matters, folks. Do whatever you can do to help the world around you. That's your part. That's my part. Okay. Now, let's jump back into, now that that's done. And if you have suggestions for me, please bring them. I'm always open to suggestions. If there's something that y'all think I can do, I've got some communications through my Rotary Club here in North Idaho, that maybe we can get some donations directly to the people in need. I'm going to be looking into that on Wednesday when I go into my Rotary Club. But we can only do what we can do. So I'm just saying, do whatever it is that you can do. Now, Peterose. For those of you who are following along, I'm going to go through. I'm going to put up some Peterose images. That they're classic images. And honest to goodness, this is literally just a Google search of Peterose. But if you want to see them, I'm going to go. Look, I'm going to talk two things today, and it's going to be quick. All right, so you got to hang on for the ride. Number one, I want to talk about grief. And part of this is I'm going to go through my own grief process in the midst of this. Did I know Peterose personally? No, I did not. Did I grow up watching him play? Yes, I did. And as a child watching Peterose play, I learned some things about that absolutely impacted the way that I play and what players I liked to follow. I followed people like Lenny Dykstra, Johnny Bench, Peterose. These are people who routinely like to get dirty and play the game really hard. And so what I want to do is just take a super quick journey down a memory lane for me. But for some of you, maybe you don't know Peterose, and maybe this is your first experience of Peterose from where you are in life. Maybe you never got to experience this guy. But here's the other thing. When he played this game, you'll see in these images, I'm just scrolling through the Google images. This is fantastic. You see the classic Peterose dive. Beautiful. Like that when we were kids, we called that the Petey. Like literally when I was 5, 6, 7 years old and I was learning how to slide, this is what we saw. This is what we imitated, the Petey, right? We did this before we learned how to slide with our feet forward. Like that was the first thing that we would learn how to do, was the Petey. He, as many of you know the story, I actually did a paper on Peterose when I was in high school because he got kicked out of the game. It was called a lifetime ban from Major League Baseball. And yet he coached the minor league levels and in lots of different areas. And you know, he was a good coach from what I've heard. I didn't get to play for the guy. But the lifetime ban that took place when I was in high school, I looked into it because I grew up around people who gambled and stuff. And so I was intimately aware of the problems with gambling. And I'm just going to tell you right now, from my vantage point, as I'm going through my grief process with you, I want to highlight a couple of things. Number one, when we lose people that were important to us in our journey, even people like I didn't idolize Peterose as like he was my hero, but I absolutely imitated and mimicked some of the things he did in baseball when I played, because we look to people who have carved the path before us and we follow those that have done a good job with it. And it doesn't mean that I believe in everything that he believes in and I'm like all of that stuff, because clearly I don't know that, him gambling on the game, though it's been said and seems to be, there's no evidence, at least that I have found, where Pete gambled against his own team. Even still, gambling puts a perception that you're in for the taking, that could happen. It creates that perception, and he should have known better. He should have done better. And there also comes a time for forgiveness. Now, officially, as of yesterday, he was banned from the game. I'm going down this memory lane of looking at him in his Cincinnati Reds uniforms, tipping his cap, being the gentleman on the field, getting dirty, pulling off the PD, playing on AstroTurf and dirt and grass and aging. Like there's some pictures of him like in here that are pretty old, right? And I got to tell you, there's also a time for forgiveness, folks. Oh my gosh, I just saw the picture of him and Bud Hurlson when they were duking it out. Oh my gosh. Forgiveness is important. He was officially, as of yesterday, banned for his lifetime. The question I have in remembering Peterose, because he is one of the greatest players of all time, right? He's definitely one of the greatest players of all time. Matter of fact, let's do this together. Let's take a look at his stats, folks. I mean, this guy here, I'm gonna see if I can pull this one. That's not gonna come in clear. This guy was one of the ultimate ball players. I'm on images, that's why. There we go. Like when you look back at his statistics, man, this guy had, in terms of games played, he was 3,562 games. At bats, 14,000 at bats. Runs, 2,165 runs. How about stolen bases? Let's go to that stat. It's the very, very last stolen. He didn't have that many stolen bases, folks. Dude just played hard. We know him for the PD because we knew no matter what happened, he was going all out. And so even though he's been banned for a lifetime, my question of the day is this: will they let him in to the Hall of Fame, whereas a player, he belongs, now that he's not here? Maybe for his memory's sake, for his family. The dude was instrumental to the game of baseball in many ways, including, if I'm being honest, helping to eliminate some of the gambling problems that might have been in baseball from early 1900s when you had the White Sox scandal up through the 1980s. Look, forgiveness does not mean we condone the behavior. It means we can recognize the person in spite of the behavior. It's acceptance of the person in spite of the behavior. That's forgiveness, folks. And maybe now is the time for Peterose to be forgiven. What do you think? I'd like to hear from you. My grief process, just as a side note for you, my grief process, I always look at the memories that I have of people when I lose them, always, because I don't want to forget them. I want to remember them. And yeah, I'm not going to pie in the sky and say that everything was perfect. It wasn't, especially with Peterose. And I can still forgive him for the flawed man that he was and appreciate the things that he brought to me, to us, to our world. I can do that. And I hope you would join me in doing that. Let us know what you think. Thank you so much. Thank you, Peterose. Hopefully hopefully he was a praying man and a godly man, and he ended up going to heaven. All right. Thank you for joining us, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Hey, everybody. Thanks for listening. We appreciate our audience a lot, so we give you some simple ways to track us down. Please like, subscribe, and follow all the podcasts on different platforms, but you can also email us at healthyperspectives@protonmail.com, or you can check out our website at healthy-perspectives.com/podcast. It's a backward slash. So if you want to go to our landing page, if you go to healthy-perspectives.com, you'll still find us. You just got to click on the podcast button. Thank you so much.